Hi, this is Leslie.
And Lexy.
Thank you for joining us. Today we are talking everything
AirBond.
AirBond, a bonding agent. Last week was Tack. So bonding agents.
PowerBond.
PowerBond. Sorry, we talked
about Tack.
Have we talked about Tack?
No, but we did PowerBond last week, so go
Okay.
check that one out. But we're on to AirBond.
We're on to AirBond, and you know, the bonding agents that we have, or that anybody has, are probably one of the most technical products we make in the lab. Maybe not technical for you to apply, but that is actually the product that helps whatever base you're using or sculpting gel or anything. It helps product adhere to the nail.
Well, it is the adhesion of why your nail is sticking to your, they're the product sticking to the nail plate.
It does.
Which is huge. That's why your nails last so long.
It is. But they always seem so boring to me.
They do seem, well, yeah, because it's, you know, it's nothing glamorous.
It's not like you make art with it or
No.
sculpt with it. But anyway, extremely
Yes.
important. But AirBond, we're going to talk about today. First of all, we get a lot of questions on AirBond. I do want to start with AirBond is one of the products in Light Elegance line. You do not have to use. There's certain times you need it, and then otherwise you don't need it at all. But when you need it, it is good for people that have moisture on their nails. If you have a client that has really sweaty hands, sweaty nail beds, that water, that moisture can really give you problems when you put the product on there and cause lifting because the moisture is that barrier in there. What AirBond does is removes that moisture in the nail. So it's for people with sweaty nail beds, or think about it. If you live somewhere where there's a lot of moisture in the air, where might that be?
Florida, down south.
South America, Hawaii, South Pacific.
Yep.
Anyway, so if
We should go do some research.
We
should go test that theory.
Let's do that. Let's take our little AirBond in our bag and go
Put it
test
in
it.
and let's hit the road.
I like that. But if there's moisture in the air, then it's on the nail. So AirBond is really good for people who live in.
I love that point. That's because I'd never really thought of it as the moisture and the humidity in the air. I always thought kind of, you know, because I'm a little bit of a sweatier person, so I use AirBond on my nails. And so, but it's a good point with the weather, right? Because if you do live in a humid place, your nail beds are going to be more wet. They're going to be more moisture in them.
I've heard people say, "Oh, I can't use gels because I live in a humid area." You hear that? I'm like,
Mythbusters, boom. Get your AirBond now.
Get your and prep work really helps. Good prep work. Nothing beats good prep. I have to say that we should do one of our things on prep work.
And files.
But good prep work helps so much. But the moisture in that, you need that. There's so many little things that you just want. You want that product that you're putting on there to adhere. So there's so many things that you can do to help the product that you're using adhere to that natural nail or existing enhancement.
Yes.
So that is a little bit about AirBond, and I think Olivia said we had some questions, Lexi.
Ooh, let's hear them.
All right, we sure do have some questions. We will start with, does AirBond change the pH of the nail plate?
Well, it has I always want to make sure I get this right. It has an acidic nature, but when it hits the moisture in the air, it neutralizes. So it does not change the pH on the nail.
Ooh,
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. It's that combination of it reacts,
And then it neutralizes.
once it hits the moisture. It's made to, when it hits that moisture, it reacts.
perfect. Will using AirBond make soaking off P+ or Jimmy Gel take longer?
If you are using QDbase, it will. Right?
Yeah, it can. It can slow anything down. Anything. It's Tack would take, if you let's say Tack, it doesn't take as long as Tack, but it can. It is at making. What it does is it makes that QDbase adhere to that natural nail even stronger. So it will take a little bit longer. Anytime you use a bonding agent, it's going to take soaking off.
But I think you're right. I think it's not going to take as long as if you're using something like Tack or PowerBond. But yes, it will. It's going to, any sort of primer or adhesion is going to slow down the process to some degree.
Kind of have to look at it. Do I want my client's nails to really stay on well, or do I want them to soak off really fast? So, and some people wear enhancements or a soak off system better than others. We all have clients that, oh my gosh, they're so tough, they can't wear things very well. They have weak nails, or they're really hard on their nails compared to somebody that can wear stuff extremely well. So
it's really just knowing your client and what their nail bed type is like, and it's going to depend on the products you use on their nail bed. So I think that's what makes a great nail professional, is catering to your specific client.
Exactly. Sometimes it takes a while to get to know that.
Yes.
What are the adhesion ingredients in AirBond?
Number one, that's top secret.
Top secret.
Someone might be listening. We have SDS sheets on our website, so if you ever want to know any of the ingredients or anything like that, you can go and look on the website at the SDS sheets. But we don't give out the secret information.
Yeah. Even though you can find it.
You can kind of figure it out.
But a lot of people print out the SDS sheets and they have, a folder by their
you
desk.
have to by law have them in their salon.
Yeah, and that way if clients do ask or people have concerns, it's so nice to be able to grab that and reference that and address their problems or their worries.
Right.
So print those out, look at them, and make sure you guys know your facts and know the knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge is power, right?
Yes.
Was AirBond originally intended for acrylic use only?
No.
It's intended for moisture in the air or on the nails, and that
Doesn't matter what you put on top. Acrylic, gel, soft gel, hard gel.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It's all about moisture and removing it.
What is the expiration time on AirBond?
Once AirBond bottle is opened, it has a 12-month before it expires. Now, let's talk this. This is something that people have problems with. AirBond, remember, it reacts with moisture, right? Air, even if you're not in a real humid place, there's moisture in air. So if you do not take that lid and screw it on tight, and air gets in there, moisture gets in there, your AirBond will crystallize.
It almost like it cures up and hardens.
Right, because remember, it reacts with moisture, and if you leave that lid off, or like I said, don't screw it on. It's so important to take care of our products when they're in the bottles, to make sure that lids are screwed on tight, to make sure that the cap, if you're doing a service and you're kind of being, I hate to say it, a little lazy, and not putting the cap back on and allowing moisture to get into that bottle, your AirBond's gonna crystallize, and then you're not gonna be able to use it. So take care of your bottles, take care of your products, and make sure, especially with this one, that your lid is on tight. As soon as you've applied it, put the lid back on and screw it tight.
Yes, and that saves you guys money in the long run, because you don't want to waste product and you have to buy a brand new AirBond.
Right.
So just being conscious of taking care of your product, it'll save you money, it'll save you time.
And it'll work better.
Yes.
So,
Love it.
good question. That was a really good question.
Our last question is, what can AirBond do compared to VitaPrime?
Remove moisture from the nail. AirBond is just all about removing moisture from the nails. So like I said, we're in a very dry climate here. If I don't have sweaty nails, so there's no reason for me to use it.
But I use it because
She
I
sweats.
naturally have sweaty skin. So it really just depends on who you are. It doesn't, so yes, climate does make a difference, but sometimes it doesn't, because it just depends on what your skin and your nails are doing as well.
Yeah.
You also can layer products. So what I do is she puts AirBond down on my nails, and she does put Tack over the top. So you can layer if you feel like you need to in certain situations.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Oh, okay.
Does AirBond need to be cured?
No.
I can't believe no one asked that either,
Yeah,
which is
that-
crazy.
that's why we call
Which
it
is crazy.
AirBond.
I got my own questions on my sleeve.
Lexi, I thought you scare me sometimes, because I thought,
Well, I knew you know the answer.
Only ask me questions I know.
I wasn't going to throw you too big of a curveball there.
Thank you.
But no, that's what's great about AirBond too, is you can put it down, it takes 10 seconds to dry, and then you can completely go over it with either your Lexi line, your Jimmy Gel, or your Tack.
Yeah.
So very easy, very quick.
Compatible with everything.
Yes.
It was designed to remove moisture from the nail. It's basically that simple. And it's a fabulous product for that, because there's a lot of people who have a ton of moisture on their nails, and that moisture makes it so that the product can't adhere, and it's an issue. So it may be very specific, but very important.
Very important.
Diane is on here, and she said it's also great for people who have their hands in water a lot.
Ooh, well, moisture.
Yep.
Once again, it all's across the board. Yeah, if you're working
a
with
dishwasher,
Or if you're like a swimming instructor
yeah.
or a surfer, you know, whatever. If you're in water all the time, I guess that's
so we are going to become surfers and go to the
and
South
we're going,
Pacific.
yes, we're going to the South Pacific
to
for
see
some
if
research.
AirBond really works in water and
We'll go live there and we'll
actually
go
let's
back.
get a whole bunch of us and go. So if you guys want to go test AirBond in the South Pacific, just give us a call. Anyway, this is AirBond. I hope we've helped you. It's a fabulous product. It is specific to certain environments
and people.
So anyway,
Test it out. Try
test it out. Next week when we talk, we want to know what you guys want to talk about in the Light Elegance line or anything. Heck, we could do topics not on nails if you want.
But
Who
every
knows?
Wednesday we are going to pick either if it's a product or a specific topic. We are going to just really deep dive into that. So if you guys have any suggestions, let us know in the comments. If it is a product, or like Lezlie said, if it's not a product, if it's a situation, or if it's just a hot trending conversation, let us know and we will see you guys on Wednesday to talk about it.
Let's get to know Ellie really, really well.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Bye.